The cultural underground. They'll wear funky shoes, wild hats, and maybe carry a backpack full of water. They'll have a blow pop in one hand and a vitamin drink in the other, and by the light of the moon, by the beat of the drum, they dance, they rave.
But basically they were just like mostly warehouses that got rented out, and they were pretty much set up independently through independent groups that just kind of banded together. They didn't have like the glow sticks and the bracelets and all that sort of stuff. It was, you'd have, again, kind of typical club attire for like the, mid-90s. Go-go boots, slightly less skimpier stuff, but not like the stuff that they wear now that's like really skimpy. Music, like pretty much what happened was right around that time is you had the advent of like computer music, whereas before that it was kind of hard to like make music, but now they were starting to get like software programs and digital music that, pretty much people with a computer, for like $10,000 or $15,000, you could like buy all the gear you needed to sort of make your own like electronic music, and so it was kind of the start of electronica and techno. At dance clubs and stuff, it was still more mainstream type music, even though it would be like club versions. And to DJ there, you sort of had to be an established DJ from a radio station. So you had all these people that wanted to kind of become DJs that could then all of a sudden make music on their own. And they just started creating venues to sort of perform that. And so, they started smaller. Like the first ones that I helped a friend of mine with, there was probably only like 25 people there. But it was kind of like as it grew and we'd find out about other DJs doing the same thing in different towns, it's like, oh hey, what if we got 5 DJs together and we rented out a warehouse, and then if each DJ had 25 to 30 fans and they all came, that would be a couple hundred people. So that was sort of how it like started to get bigger. But I don't really remember the drug element of the sort of independent music dance scene being anything more extreme than you would expect to find at, say, a concert at like a regular pavilion.
A lot of the shows I go to from other genres of music, it's like people are just kind of quiet and keeping themselves, but like waiting in line, and as we were going in, everybody's real friendly, everybody was really nice, like always wanted to make like new friends and stuff. I don't know, they look out for each other, like you never feel like left out of a group, and there's no real like cliques or anything, like depending on what DJs or like what style of music you listen to, everybody's pretty accepting of each other.
Really cool and euphoric. You played all those really cool songs that you always wanted to hear when you go to a rave. And it was just really a life-changing experience, and it was right then that I knew that my life had to be part of this movement, this EDM movement.
Oh, Plur to me, man, it's a great sense of like togetherness with the people you're with. Like, Plur actually stands for peace, love, unity, and respect. And Plur is tied into these bracelets, which are candy bracelets. And a lot of the times when you go to raves, if they're like Plur raves or candy raves, you trade them with people in a handshake called Plur, and pretty much each letter, like I explained, represents peace, love, unity, and respect. It's just a handshake that you do to trade candy and show that you respect the people around you, and like you just want to have a good time, and it's like a togetherness of the whole community of that style of music and like that whole scene.
The fashion at raves is whatever you want it to be, but even when you do want it to be something individual, it ends up being somewhat like everybody else. But that correlation and that kinship to everybody else at the raves, that's what brings you together. Is, you can dress totally normally and be completely accepted at a rave, or you could be decked out in candy all the way up your arms and have all these cool little things on, and you're treated just the same way.
Fashion-wise in the rave scene, like if you really like look at the fashion in the rave scene, depending if you're more of a dancer, if you're more just there to have fun, like A lot of the girls usually, like what I've seen, it really like hardcore, like Plur raves or Kandi raves, or like hardcore ravers that go to these things like all the time. A lot of the girls will have like these fudgies, which are covers that go around your legs, and just like they pretty much look like you're just wearing like fur leg warmers. And then like they'll wear like little tutus or stuff that are really bright neon colors or like rainbow. And then usually a bikini top or really small like spaghetti strap shirt or whatever. The guys will wear pretty much just shorts or skinny jeans and like really bright, as you can see what I'm wearing. I have all my Kandi on, and then like really bright shirt and really bright accessories and lights like LEDs, rave gloves, like light show gloves, toy. Just a lot of these crazy like light up toys and stuff. And like another thing, if you're into the shuffling scene, like if you're a hardcore dancer, fat pants are really popular.
There's a lot of purists out there who say that EDM should stay underground, but personally, I love the fact that dubstep has gotten so huge that Skrillex got nominated for an award, or David Guetta's on every single song on the radio. I think it's great. I think that the more that this movement grows stronger, and the more the movement grows, the more we'll see the more creativity we can get at it.
Like, there's a whole bunch of other great DJs like Rusko, Vosky, just a whole bunch of other guys, like Datsik also, just putting out great music. Bass Nectar too, like they're pretty good. Like, they always throw down great sets, and they intertwine different styles of music, like DMB, and they also intertwine a lot of like house feels and stuff. So if you're looking for that like long, hard, heavy bass, I'd go with dubstep or DMB. If you were to go with happy hardcore, DJs like Al Storm and Darren Styles are great DJs. And then if you're looking for mainly just bass kicking, like grimy, fast music, I'd just go with the hard style, like Headhunters, Noise Controllers.
EDM, it's... I don't want to speculate, but EDM I think is one of the best things that's ever happened to music ever, because it gives producers, it gives DJs, it gives the listener a chance to develop their own individual playlist of EDM that they like. I'd like to say it's the music, but what really inspired me to become a DJ was just chance, really. I knew somebody who was really into mixing, and one day he invited me up, and I didn't stop since. But I knew that I wanted to be a DJ when I got that first really good transition down. I got that feeling where like, yes, I just did that and it sounded awesome, and I'm addicted. That feeling is something that I can never let go of.
And the rave scene is really tied to, like, everybody thinks it's just like ecstasy, doing ecstasy, ketamine, cocaine, just all these crazy drugs. And not all of these raves and not everybody there does drugs. Like, a lot of people just view, it's like a stereotype that all ravers are just, all they do is do like these hardcore, like popping pills and doing drugs, and that's the only reason they go to these shows, which isn't necessarily true. And in some areas, if police see you with Kandi on, or if you look like you're a raver, they will actually just pull you over and check you just because they think you're doing drugs. Everybody I know goes to shows sober, and there's a few people who go and like to do ecstasy or do drugs, but it's not an all-time thing. It's not everybody's doing it. So you really gotta break that stereotype. Just because certain people in the rave scene do those drugs don't mean all ravers do it. It doesn't mean that everybody who goes to these shows do it, and they kind of give us a bad rap and make the scene look bad. So, I don't know, I would recommend you, if you go to shows, just be sober and respect people. Like, don't go around just hating on people who are actually on drugs, and don't go around trying to peer pressure people into doing drugs, because everybody does their own thing, and the whole scene isn't a stereotype.
The environment at raves, it's not what the media makes it look like. It's everybody wants to be your friend. There's that whole controversy with the drugs, but it's not as prominent as how people think. And I think that it's a great environment for anyone. You could be depressed out of your mind, but you can still always, if you at a rave, you're welcome no matter what, and you'll always be welcome.
Instead of dissing, we play beats. Instead of hating, we stomp feet. It's a hardcore life for us. It's a hardcore life for us.